Alexis Cooper is a woman with a story. In an exclusive interview with Novus TV, the West Vancouver resident sits down with me to discuss her lifelong dream of motherhood and the ups and downs she faces through a journey with IVF treatment. So Alexis, what is IVF exactly?
So IVF stands for in vitro fertilization, which means that the egg from me and the sperm from the donor I'm using will be fertilized in a lab, in a petri dish. So it's basically controlling the fertilization process in a laboratory.
How important would you say is IVF to you achieving your ultimate goal?
Well, I've tried other methods leading up to this point. The odds of success with those were low. And yes, they were not successful. So for me, IVF means the odds of success go up to 70% from, less than 20.
Motherhood is something really important to you. Describe what motherhood would mean to you.
I mean everything. I've loved kids since day one. I have a younger sibling, I have younger first cousins. My friends have had families, so I'm surrounded by kids. And then there's biology too. I mean, I'm ready to be a mom, and it would mean the world to me. It's all I'm focused on now. It's a part of me that's missing.
IVF is such a personal journey. What made you decide to share your story publicly?
When I started this process, I was very, very private. I had to learn a lot in the beginning to even know if this was right for me. It's a huge undertaking. It's a life decision, right? It's one of those big ones. But I felt very alone in the process. I felt, I didn't know any friends who were struggling with fertility or going to a fertility clinic. I just felt very alone, and I thought to myself, you know what? If I feel like this, there's got to be other people out there who feel like this too. And so I decided to make it more public and just share my story with the hopes of helping other people feel like, hey, you know what? There's other people out there like me. There's a perception that people turn to IVF because there's something wrong with them. And that's not always the case. Some people, yes, there are things that they can't change that require them to have that additional medical intervention, but I don't think it's fair to automatically assume that anyone turning to IVF, A, has tons of money, because that's usually not the case, and B, that there's something wrong with them. It's unfair to assume that.
What would you say to somebody who's watching that's just, might feel really alone as well too?
I would say create your own village. You'll be amazed at how many people are supportive when they know what's going on, or they understand that you're dealing with something very difficult or very stressful. And there's lots of support out there in terms of chat groups and private groups. I've joined a few. There's community support, and above all, just knowing you're not alone. That's the biggest thing, because that's one of the most difficult things to go through, is feeling like you are, but definitely you're not. There's a number of other people out there struggling with some of the same things. So yeah, create your village, create your support, and know you're not alone.